have like it to be a conversation and there's just a camera over the shoulder.
Accept that there's people that are going to be better than you at that specific thing. So I know there's going to be someone that's better at editing.
You know, and you could sit around and say, well, I haven't started on the main script because I'm waiting for it to be inspired, right? When you show up and you sit down and you go to your spot, the inspiration does come.
If I don't put my skin in the game, shed a bit of blood, how could I expect for the return I'm hoping for to be as severe as the sacrifice?
A lot of people will be like, I could never do, I have no idea how to do, and I didn't either, for the most part. It's just sitting down and taking the time to learn it once, and then when you do, it's like, oh my gosh.
Oh, I didn't see you there. I've just got my big old case. And today, while I'm watching football, catches it, walks it in. Awesome. Today, I have a photo shoot in Flagstaff, and I am deciding what I need to bring. Don't necessarily need headphones for it, but it's couple photo. They're taking photos for their save the date. So I was like, I gotta pack my bag. Might as well make some content because you know what they say. If you're not feeding the disgusting, sweaty beast that is capitalism, then what are you doing? That's not how they say it. They say, oh, what value did you bring the shareholders today? So I have some cool stuff. This is a recent buy. It's a rechargeable battery pack. They all just kind of sit in this case like this. You just put them in here. I don't know if the case itself is rechargeable, but the batteries are. And I just plug them into a USB-C. And I have 8 in here. And then I have 8 more on deck, which is awesome because my flashes, being that today's shoot's going to need to be outside, I'm going to need on-camera flash. Now, a couple years ago, Colin and I got some cheap speed lights. They're not crazy. Their shutter curtain, I think, sync rate or whatever they call it is 200, 250. Which, if you're shooting higher than that, you're shooting sports, and if you're shooting sports, you don't necessarily need a speed light. I mean, if you're like shooting the Madden cover, sure. But even then, you're gonna be in a studio, so it's just gonna be a whole different thing. So the cheap ones, I mean, they're Young Nuo. We got 2 of them, and I can pretty much do any 2-light, 3-light setup with these. Although one of them recently has broken, but we got them 5 years ago, and I mean, I've used them like. Sorry, I'm getting over something. I've used them like from just taking photos of myself or taking photos of other people like 20 times, I'd say. And when you think about how often you use your like gear and how expensive it is, it kind of really makes you think that like $20 that I've done 4 photo shoots with these, and they're each $85 when we got them. Let's just do one. That's $21.50 or something, or $21.25 or something like that, for each use. Which, like, when you're renting gear, that's probably roughly about what it is. But then I still have them, right? And like I have them for a lot of personal projects. Like I've used them for my own personal headshots more than 4 times. Have I used those headshots? No. Some of them. My current headshot, I used these to take the picture with. We also have these flash kits, so we can remote sync to the camera. So I will be wanting to bring these. These are the 2 transmitters, 1 receiver. They're Velo, which has 2 L's. Otherwise, you're going to be getting some dipping materials, which I don't think you want. I mean, you could want, but like not when you're trying to shoot remote flash. I think most people in the film industry do have some kind of nicotine dependence, so that's not crazy. But the thing about these is they take 4 AA batteries, and when they do go at like full stop, like 1 of 1, they just chew through that battery. They're like just so egregiously energy draining because it's a bright flash. I mean, one full stop or whatever the case is a lot of light. Like that is a crazy amount of light. So I'm testing these to see which one. I think, if I remember correctly, the blue one is good to go, and it makes this fun little chime. Broken. I can tell because, right? And you'd say, well, Trip, what the rechargeable batteries? Maybe it's the batteries. You're right. So we can either take out new batteries and then have 8 batteries floating around, or go to the other one because we know one works. Pop it in, drop it in, drop it in, and it works. Doesn't make the delightful little chime though, so that's interesting. Now there's a way to test this. I don't know the functionality on these that well. They do have an internal transmitter, which I haven't been able to get to work. Theoretically, if it's going out on the same band, it should be able to connect to the receiver. But again, I haven't been able to get it to work, which is why we have these. And like it's the difference between this on camera and this on camera. Negligible. Well, actually, yeah, because like it's the difference between this on like a stand or free floating, you know, I'm holding it, or this, right? Like that's not that. There's not much of a difference between this and this. It does look. It gets a lot more top heavy when this happens, but it's really not that big of a deal. So we have our speed light. We have batteries. You see this rubber band here. It's for our filter kit. These are just these really neat little gels. I'm going to show you a divider because it's essentially the same thing. So it's these neat little gels that go over the top. You fold them over the sides, put the Band-Aid or the rubber band over the side, and it holds it down. Right? So sometimes I do use the dividers as like a diffusion, but you don't necessarily need that. I don't use these dividers. This unfortunate little gel kit is so destroyed. Like it's not organized. I tore one up at one point to use for my RAID system. Had this blue light and it was in my room and it was like affecting my sleep. So I cut up the red gel and I just slapped it in there. So some other cool things about this you'll see on a lot of speed lights is if you like hook your finger, there's a little notch here, and you pull up, you have this bounce card. And you also have a little diffusion flap. So if you just want diffused, right, you can do this, and then you can aim this at your subject. But if you want this, so say you put the diffusion or the bounce card, you have to put the diffusion slide back in order to get it back up. But this is really great for when I'm shooting people like this, right? And I don't want full flash directly on them, right? We don't want this. Right? And then we don't want diffused on them, right? That's going to help with diffusion, but what I really like is what's called a book light. And it's just because in school it was always like something teachers harped on, but also you could just tell it was so much more realistic and a lot softer and it had a better roll off. So I always like to have a book light. Right now I'm not doing a book light and it's bugging me a little bit, but with the dimensions of this apartment I can't really do a book light. So I like to use the bounce. Helps me kind of adjust things a little bit more, and then you can even like keep the thing up, drop the diffusion down, and just have a bounce. But this is double diffusion. There's something called the inverse square law, which I don't remember necessarily what it's fully about. So then I also have these cups, these diffusion cups, which are really nice because you just slap it on there, right? And now that's diffused. So I can point this at you, I can point this up. It's going to send the light in every direction instead of a very like directional thing. Whereas these two on flash forms of diffusion and reflection are going to be very directional, right? So like, yes, I've done this so much that I just clip my nails too. Yes, this is going to send straight up, so it's going to get a nice bounce off the ceiling. It's going to send light at our subject, right? Or if you do this, it's going to send light down on the subject and out across their front. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't get it this way, right? So if you want to fill a room, we were doing real estate photography at the time, you really want to get a diffusion cup, right? Slap that on there, then the light hits here, it goes everywhere, boom. So we have those. Good to know that the blue does not work. I wish I had a gray Sharpie so I could X this out. So that's really all I need for today's shoot is flash, modifiers, camera, right? One thing that's interesting is I have 3 lenses. I have a 25, a 40, and an 85. I'm currently shooting on the 40, and I would like to have that for the shoot. So obviously I'm going to pack and then repack to add that. But I don't know if I want the 40, right? So like I'm doing portrait photography, it's couples photography. 85 is generally what people recommend just because it adds a nice like bokeh and it has like a better like compression for the background. So say like right now I'm on the 40. This is generally what you would see with the human eye, compression wise, not field of view wise. So what that means is the background looks realistically how far away it is from me right now. However, when you go further up in depth, right? So like if you have a longer lens, an 85, which is my other lens, this one, then it will bring that closer because it's zooming in. And so it's taking this wall and it's like in the video, it's gonna look like it's right up on my back. I mean, it looks pretty close because I am close. I'm like arm's distance away, but it would look more like this than this, right? And then if it's a 25, which is my other lens, it's gonna look like this, right? It's gonna look like it's super far away. But because it's the 40, it's, you know, natural. And I think for the photos, like in the past I've used the 40, before I got the 85, I used the 40. And then all I wanted was an 85 so I could do headshots. And then I started using an 85. I had the Canon USM 85, I think it was the Mark I, so it was a really old lens, but it was beautiful glass. Like, just gorgeous glass. This glass, like, I mean, it was heavy. It was a 4 or 5 pound lens by itself. So my whole rig would be like 5 pounds in total, because I also had a Metabones to it, because it was Canon and I have Sony. So, that was always a heavy thing. So I ended up selling that for a little bit less money than I bought it for, but that's fine. That happens. But I did love that lens. It was an f1.2, which is just so crispy, creamy, bokeh. And I took some really cool shots on it. But I found out that, like, I do really like the compression and the focus. Like, when I'm... It's funny with my eye. Like, people are like, oh, I just don't see the world that way. And it's like when you can kind of picture what the 85 sees and what the 40 sees and what the 25 sees. Like, the 25 is going to be like this field of vision. The 40 is going to be like this field of vision, and then the 85 is going to be like this field of vision, right? And so, sorry. So yeah, 25, 40, 85, that's pretty dramatic, but when you're a photographer who's used these lenses enough, can see that, they can focus, like you're going to focus on something and be like, oh, this is a really cool shot of my kitchen, because I have my counter going this way, the floating wall going this way, then I have some depth, but then I have the counters, but then there's some more depth. So there's like all these different angles. But I don't want to take a picture of this whole room, you know, maybe bring it down to the 40. Well, the 40 still isn't really getting that depth, but the 85, right? Like what I'm really looking at is this like little window right here. And so you go to the framing, but then you take a picture of it and it looks really flat. And that's the problem I have with the 85. Is that compression is nice because it gives you a really crispy bokeh, and it looks really tasty. And if I'm taking a picture in front of a mountain, sure, that mountain's going to look closer and it's going to be really cool. But if I'm in a studio, if I'm taking a picture of a couple at like right in front of a building, right, you're just going to see the window. You're not going to see the whole building. The 25 is going to be better because you can get the scale of the building and you can have the couple come closer. The second part of this compression that I do not like is the face, right? Because with an 85, it does a really good job of just pancaking your face. Like, it brings your cheekbones forward and it sends your nose back. And so it really just flattens the curvature of your face. And for some people, that's what you want. But I think that if I'm more, and like you can shape that out with light if you're experienced in that as well. But today I'm going to be shooting in, I'm thinking Buffalo Park or something like that outdoor. So I'm also going to bring my diffusion 5-in-1 diffusion disc. But I would rather have the ability to have the lens create the depth than the lighting create the depth. Again, you can create depth with lighting, but I just, there's something missing. I like the angularity, right? When people have like a really nice sharp chin, right? Like me, they totally have the ability to make some of those like portrait lenses look a little bit better, those telephoto portrait lenses. However, I prefer to really emphasize that because otherwise I'm asking people to do like this. You're like, can you stick your chin out? And they're like, yeah. And then you're like, no, more. And they're like, what? And I'm like, and now neck up. And they're like, what? And then they're doing this. And that's not what you want. So for the shoot today, I'm really just trying to focus on, one, a very light footprint because I don't want to be lugging this stuff all over town. And two, maximum quality. Like, I'm going to be taking the time it takes to get things done. That includes bringing a stand out there. That includes bringing a diffusion disc. I might even bring 2 stands so I can have the diffusion stand up on something. But that's really it. You don't need a ton. Like, I think it's really interesting because like a lot of people think all you need for you to become a photographer is a camera. And you can buy the camera just like this. I mean, without the strap. But you can buy the camera just like this, but you can't take a photo with it because then you got to buy a lens. And then, say you spend a couple $1,000 on a specific lens, and you wanted it to be the best lens you could get, right? And so you get a Distrion 40mm half macro with a macro switch that's f2, just f2 flat. And then you realize that because you've been told all of this information about how filming works, how video works, like how filmmaking works, how you need to have specific things, and if you don't have a specific criteria, then you're not going to have a successful thing, right? You have teachers who are snobs about gear, who call your camera, your $3,000 camera, $2,000 camera, a point-and-shoot camera. And then you end up buying the wrong piece of gear. And then you realize, okay, well now I have my camera, now I have my lens, let's go out and shoot people. And you start taking photos of people at golden hour because that's when you take photos, right? But say you want to go at midday, well, that sucks. Because if you're used to doing golden hour, then you're used to using side light, which is the ideal light. You get Rembrandtian light, and it's nice and warm. So you go out and you get you were like, okay, I've already spent $3,000-$4,000 on camera and lens. Now I have to get like flash, and I don't have enough money for a speed light, but I have a shoot, and I can spend a little bit of money on the shoot because it's a free shoot, right? I'm doing this for free. A friend needed a photo, so I go out and I buy a 5-in-1 diffusion disc. And you're saying 5-in-1, what is that? And you're like, you've seen this. We've all seen these somewhere or another. It's one of those discs that has, gold on one side. It has, well, the silver's I think on the inside. Gold on one side. It also has white, right? So gold and white. Then it also has silver on the other end, and then I think a different white. No, it has black. It has negative fill on the other side, which is nice. I like negative fill. Don't use it enough. And then the last thing is that's actually just a cover like this that goes around the outside. And the actual disc itself is like, you can hold it up. It's diffusion. Like it's like opal. So it actually like, it's translucent, right? So it's kind of like this bag here, where light casts through it and diffuses. So that's a 5-in-1 deflection disc. This is from like Best Buy for like, I think $20. So this is the first light mattifying thing you get, right? And then you start making it work. But now you have to have someone with you every time you go, to a shoot. So then you finally start making money doing it because you have your light modifier, you have your camera, your lens. I'm assuming at this point you have an SD card. If you don't, then you're just wasting time and money. But then you go out and you realize, okay, I'm ready for a speed light. So then you put it on your camera, take pictures with it. Oh, great. It's great, but it's just so frontal. I want something from the side. So then you get a stand and you get a dap. You know, like it just keeps happening this way. What I recommend is that you find the best deal on a camera. It's like anything else. Like sometimes, like I don't regret the way I did it because you know what? Sometimes you got to jump in, get your feet wet. Other times you have to kind of plan things out and go forward. And I thought I knew what I wanted, and I thought I had a good plan, and I didn't, and I got my feet wet, and I realized, you know, maybe this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing, but like this is what I've been told, and so I listened to people and got prime lenses, and I can do so much more with the zoom lens. And now the zoom lenses are better than the prime lenses. So like, I mean, not better, but like, they're different, right? And like, I like having the limitation of a dedicated focal length, but a zoom lens would be better for things like today. Instead of having to be like, okay, take all our photos in 85, take all our photos in 40, take all our photos in 25. I'd be like, oh, I really like this shot, 85, 50, 35, 24, and it's actually the one I'm looking at is a 24 to 70, so 70, 50, 35, 24, and then again, keeping that footprint really light. All I need is one lens, not three, one camera, SD cards included, battery, don't forget battery, 5 and 1 diffusion disc. That's all I really need is those 3 things. I'm going to be bringing a stand because I don't have someone to hold that for me, and I'd like to hold it up, angle it, get it in the right direction. I'd also like to be able to put this on a stand if I need to. So what I'm going to be packing today, oh, and then finally filters. We didn't even get to filters. So got some filters. I believe this is the black Pro Mist or a circular pull-up. Damn it. Anyway, I have black Pro Mist. I have warm Pro Mist, which I really like. I liked the warm Pro Mist, and then it went, like, it just shot into the zeitgeist, and it just got overused. So many people, that's when you get that really, like, airy, ethereal look where it just kind of looks film. Like, it's everything kind of slightly out of focus, but it's not, and the light just starts, like, flaring. You know what? I'm going to show you my warm Pro Mist. It should be in here. I doubt I have it in here because I do not like it that much. Because I got I think 3 stops of warm Pro Mist. This is black Pro Mist. So I'll show you black Pro Mist, and then I have the warm Pro Mist in here. I should have it in here. Maybe I returned it. It was just too much. Like, I think when you start photography, one of the things you do learn is that you overdo things, like, all the time. Like, especially in an edit, right? So, like, if I'm editing the color of a photo, I immediately, even now, just crank the saturation or the vibrance, and then I'm like, ooh, that looks good. And then I look at the original, I'm like, that looks overdone. Okay, here it is. No, this is black Pro Mist one. Did I only get black Pro Mist? I could have sworn I got a warm Pro Mist. I definitely got a warm Pro Mist. You're wondering where? It's right here. I think I got a warm, yeah, this is it. Warm Pro Mist 3. Right? Yeah. So, I'm going to show you the black Pro Mist, I think half, black Pro Mist 1, and the warm Pro Mist 3. So let's start with the black Pro Mist 1, right? Yeah, quarter stop. So this is the black Pro Mist quarter stop. This is the least amount of Pro Mist I have, and it kind of cuts down on that light. And now we're on black Pro Mist 1, and we can see how much this is affecting it. And you probably aren't noticing it. I honestly might not even notice it. But when we go from the original LUT, or I'm going to do the warm Pro Mist 3, and then I'm going to do original, and you're going to see the extreme difference that I mistakenly did. Now this is the warm Pro Mist 3, and you can tell that there's a huge difference. The color is more warm. It is orange with a little bit of pink. which I love. I love this look. I think 3 was too much. I don't know why I thought I wanted a 3, but this is what I see on Instagram. Is I see something that's like a 2 or a 3, and you really only need like a 1 or a quarter. I'd rather have a 1 or a quarter. I think today I'm going to do Black Pro Mist 1. I think it's going to look really airy and fun and ethereal and love and whatever. So that is the goal. I think it's going to be Black Pro Mist 1 on the 40 is the where I'm going to start. Black Pro Mist 1 on the 40, and we're going to do it with the A7 III, the tried and true, the trusty 24 megapixel, 6K sensor. This, I've made more, I don't even know if I've made enough money, but like this has definitely returned every penny it's worth. I used to have a dedicated eye cup for this, which, if you don't know what the eye cup is, it's the thing you press your eye against to, and it's the part that goes around the outside. If I say that one more time, I'm going to have to sing a song. In case you're wondering, it's an Eminem song. Yeah, I'm missing an eye cup, which really sucks because those things are cheap relative to film gear, but when you spend $15-$20 on a thing that literally just sits on your camera and it just closes out the light, like it's kind of annoying that you've bought 2 of them. So yeah, might just have to use the back screen, which is honestly better because you can see more. A lot of people actually recommend doing that because you can see more of the frame and you can see more of the detail. The nice thing about the Sonys is they have an OLED display, or not an OLED, but they have an LED. They have a display in here, right? It's not an actual viewfinder because they're mirrorless. You're not seeing down into the camera like it suggests by the shape. It's actually just a screen in there. So it's nice. It's nice other than the fact that it's just projecting light onto your eye. So I'm going to leave this here because I'm going to pack up when I get back home. That's what I'm bringing today on my shoot, is 5-in-1. Camera body with the strap. 3 lenses. 1, 2, you're 3. We're bringing 1 transmitter, the receiver, right? Boom. Boom. Speed light. Right? We'll put that back in its case. Put that in the bag. Modifiers, light modifiers. 1, obviously 2. And then 3, because we have the cup. I'm gonna put this cup back in here. And then I'm gonna leave this out. Then we're gonna bring in backup batteries. Right, because we have batteries in here, we have backup batteries, we should be good on batteries. I made sure those are fully charged beforehand. You always have to make sure your batteries are fully charged. I didn't do this the night before, but I did charge a bunch of batteries for a shoot I had earlier this week. And these are, I also have circular Pola and a ND, a variable ND. Sometimes I've done the 3 stack of Pro Mist, circular Pola, and ND. I think today I might just do this stack of ND and Black Pro Mist, but I'd rather, I don't really care about the bokeh as much as, or the depth of field as much as I used to. I think a good photo is a good photo, especially with the AI selection tool we have now. You can really just like mask and blur the background a lot easier. If you can't tell from my voice, I'm not feeling 100% today. I was pretty sick yesterday. I think I have a little bit of a sinus infection, but I'm at the tail end of it. It just sucks because like I want to get this done. The couple wants to get this done. I also don't get a lot of opportunity to do things, and so I'm going on a day trip with a couple friends of mine, and I get to do what I freaking love to do, is just take photos of people. So like, yeah, I'm gonna make this happen. Fun thing about these filters, stupid expensive. Oh shoot, I made all those jokes about SD cards, and I wasn't even ready for the SD cards. One of my SD cards hasn't been working, or the writing reading capabilities in my camera have not been great. So we're gonna turn it on. We're gonna go and we're gonna make sure this our SD cards are ones we can use. This is the one thing I don't like about Sony, is a lot of times when you have the 2 card slot, so I have 2 cards in here, and I have 2 cards available to that one, is you have to not only decide which SD card you're writing to, but you also have to select which one you're looking at. And I get why, because let's say I just filled up 1 and I started shooting on 2, and then I'm like, oh, did we get this shot already? And I go to 1. That makes sense, and I get why it exists. But like, it's just one of those things where it's like, it's not exactly what you need it to be. It's gonna frustrate you. I looked at the media and it is unable to display. I only shoot Sony, so all of my cards are gonna be formatted the same way, which means they're used for Sony, which means they should be able to be read by Sony. If I've offloaded the pictures and put them into a folder on my Mac, that means that it changes like the format of the folder structure, and whenever I see unable to read, that's what that means to me. So I can go in, format, SD2, because SD1 had my work shoots. And there's 5 or 6 photos on there that are for work, and no one's asking for them, and they don't exist to anyone else in their mind. The only place they exist are on my camera, and all I have to do is offload them. But I will still protect those 6. So I am shooting on SD2 today, and I have 2,564 plus the 1,100 on the other card, which means that I have more than enough to do this shoot, which I'm gonna guess is gonna have 400 to 500 photos come out of it. But I've also had like upwards of 800. I'm trying to be more intentional with my shots today and have less shots but better shots. And I'm gonna be focused on flyaways. Because I'm not that guy, pal. I'm not that guy. I wish I was. I wish I were, but I'm not. So, we're gonna shoot Sony A7 III. Battery is looking 47%. Is probably more than enough for the shoot. But like I said, like I think one of the best things someone ever told me was like, spare batteries, get them and charge them. And like, now I have so many batteries. And I bought a second battery, like a Sony brand battery, and I was like, ooh, that was expensive. So then I found these that are knockoff batteries that are okay. I mean, they hold charge and they power the battery, or power the camera. But they hold the charge for less time, and every time I put them into my FX3 is like, hey, what is this? I don't know what this is. And so I just started getting more Sony batteries, Sony brand batteries, because it just makes sense. Sometimes it's just worth it to buy the gear. So I have 3 of the Sony batteries, I have 2 of the backups, and then I also have, they're over there, but I have L series batteries that I have a dummy tap to. I don't need all that for today. Again, all I'm saying for today is light footprint, so I don't even need to bring my second receiver, but I will, because you should always have, or transmitter, you should always have backups. So yeah, I'm probably not even gonna bring my FX3, which hurts me. I love my FX3. The FX3 is the only thing I have that really allows me to call myself a filmmaker, in my mind. I mean, I've made films. Short films. Anyway, thank you for packing with me, and I hope this is entertaining. I don't know. I tried to make it entertaining. I'm gonna pack up a little bit of this film's equipment, and then I'm gonna get ready, and then I'm gonna go. I think that's it. I think that's really all. I don't know. I didn't really have. It's funny. I had an intent for this. Is like, oh, what do you pack for a photo shoot? Because I haven't had a photo shoot in years. It's been years, literal years. The last photo shoot I had, I think, was my friend's engagement photos, and I'm excited. I'm very excited. I don't know. I like photography because you can do it by yourself. Like there's a lot less to worry about, right? Because like, for instance, like a speed light on a camera, speed light is a lot smaller footprint than an actual stand light. Gotta somehow power it situation. I can do all that by myself too. But like, even for these podcasts that I've been doing, it's like you gotta set up the lights, you gotta set up the camera, you gotta stand in for yourself, you have to look at yourself in the camera, you have to make sure there's critical focus, which I haven't done for this video at all. So it might be in focus. This whole thing could be out of focus. It looks like from here, the font is like this big. It looks like it's autofocus continuous, which should track my eyes. Yeah, so then I get to actually to the point where like, okay, this lighting looks decent. Like that's why I feel like the lighting and the audio in these podcasts that I've been doing haven't been great, is because like for, let's say for the one in Santa Fe, I had to travel to Santa Fe. I had to travel to the location we were shooting, set up in a location I'd never been in before. It had great lighting, but like needed some fill light. But I could only pack one light, so I laid off on some of the equipment. So I had less lighting, I had less time. Then I finally got there and we just started talking, and then it was like, next thing you know, like let's go. She started talking, EJ started talking, and I was just like, let's go. So I think the beginning of that interview was just literally like, when I got in there, sat down, and at one point I'm just like, hey, let me set up some lights and stuff so we can get into this. And then it was like, okay, I'm gonna have to let this lighting be less. I'm gonna have to let this scenery be less, because I'm not a cinematographer right now. All right, and I'm not an audio guy, so the audio is gonna be what it is. Like I literally just put my shotgun up and then I see if I can fix it in post. Then I'm an interview guy, right? And so while I'm on camera, I'm not noticing what's going on in camera. So that becomes an issue. So overall, it's been spreading me pretty thin. But with photography, it's me and the camera with a little bit of light and the subjects. So I don't have to ask them questions. I don't have to make sure that I'm, doing, I can just say, hey, you know what, your body's a little, your posture's a little like, let's proud chest, right? Or like, hey, can you give me a little sassy hip, or something like that. So I don't know. Give me a little like forward lean on your elbow. Give me a little backward lean on your elbow. Give me a little, right? And also, for like the past few years, every once in a while, like a posing thing has come on my Instagram, and I've looked at it and I'm like, ooh, that's cool. Note that, because I don't always know how to like frame people, but it's like, someone explained it, it's like flow. It's like, oh, you want it to look like there's a focal point here and it's flowing down, or something like that. So I'm excited to try some of these new tips. I also feel a lot more confident in my ability to use the camera. For a long time I was always just like, oh, people are gonna think that I'm a fraud, blah 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 blah. And it's like, no, I've been doing this for 10 years. I mean, less than, more than, whatever. But I've been taking photos my whole life, and I've been taking actual like good photos of people. And like I bought my first DSLR, my Canon T7i, T7i. It's 10 years ago. This New Year's, like January 2026. Will be 9 years. So I know what I'm doing. I'm confident. I know it looks good. I have the eye. I need to be able to communicate that, but I'll be able to communicate that. So we're looking at flyaways. We're looking at wardrobe. We're looking at framing. We're looking at things that I don't have to do in post. That's something that I always just, oh, let's fix it in post. No, let's fix it now. Let's fix it now. All right, I'm done just jabbering. This has been a great episode of whatever this is. And, you got anything to add? There's a mirror over here that I'm talking myself in. I've officially gone insane.